shutting down and draining a boiler. What are the dangers associated with a boiler? 1. It is a pressure vessel. 2. It has hot steam. The hot steam makes it very difficult to carry out maintenance on any part of the boiler while it is in operation. Therefore, a major part of the maintenance is carried out by shutting down the boiler completely. You must always follow correct procedures as given in your manual to avoid injuries and accidents. You will find it easy to follow these steps to shut down this boiler as shown in this animation. Carry out external inspection when the boiler is still under pressure so that you can identify fuel, exhaust, steams, and water leakages. Inspect all valve glands, manhole doors, furnace doors and funnel exhausts. During firing, inspect the boiler furnace through the sight glass to analyze the quality of flame. This will give you a good indication of the air-fuel ratio, whether it's proper, less or more. Stop the firing and purge the furnace for about 5 minutes. Then switch off the forced draft fan and close all air registers. Next, shut the fuel valve before the burner and check that there is no fire in the furnace. Then, take out the burners and insert them into cleaning oil. Stop the fuel oil pump, feed pump, and then shut off the feed valves. Now, blow through the gauge glasses to ascertain correct water level. Open the ship side valves first, and then the scum valve on the steam side to complete the scum blowdown. Blow down the remaining through the bottom blowdown valve. To prevent vacuum from forming inside the boiler, open air vent cock when the pressure reaches about 0.5 bars. When boiler pressure is 0, first close the blowdown valve and then close the ship side cock. The boiler is now successfully shut down and drained. Now watch this animation, which shows you the inspection and maintenance procedures carried out on boiler. Open the burner door for furnace inspection. Check the condition of the refractory and build it up wherever necessary. Note that too much carbon deposit or breakage in the refractory is an indication of bad combustion. Inspect the inside of the tubes for carbon deposits and water leaks. Then, open the waterside manhole door and check for scale, rust, and oil deposits. Clean them by brushing or a recommended chemical to ensure efficient heat transfer and optimum tube performance. Before startup, before you start up the boiler plant, you need to do some general work and checks. First, close the main steam valve, bypass valves, circulation valves, if provided, scum valve and blowdown valves, and open the air vent valve. Then, open the feed water valves and fill the boiler with water up to approximately 50 mm below normal water level, because the water will expand to its normal level when it's heated. In case you are filling a pressureless boiler, make sure that you throttle the shut-off valve after the feed water pump. This will prevent the pump motor from being overloaded. Check the water level in the water level gauges more frequently during complete startup. Blow down the water level gauges several times to ensure a correct indication of water level. Ensure that the water level control system is connected and operational. Next, check the oil system and start the fuel oil supply pump. Preheat the fuel oil if the burner should operate on heavy fuel oil. Check safety instructions for the burner from the separate manual provided. Now your boiler is ready for startup and raising steam. Startup. At the commissioning startup of the boiler and after any repair work on the refractory, it is very important to further reduce the firing up rate. This is because the new refractory will still contain a small amount of water which expands when heated, leading to fissures and cracks in the refractory. The firing up rate at the startup should not be too high, as this might cause undue thermal stress on the boiler material. The burner must therefore only be operated at minimum load and at intervals of 1 to 2 minutes for the first few hours. Between each operation interval, the burner should remain stopped for approximately 8 to 10 minutes. Raising steam. To raise steam in a boiler, you need to follow some general work and check procedures. Check that the valves for the pressure gauges are open. If the boiler pressure is below 1 bar, ensure that the air vent valve is open and then start the burner. Switch on the manual control and on low load to avoid thermal shock. Ensure that the water level does not rise too high during the pressure rising period. If the water level is too high, drain via the blowdown valves. Close the air vent valve when steam blows out through it. Note that a pressure reading should be indicated on the boiler pressure gauge before the air vent valve is closed. Tighten all covers such as manholes, handholds, inspection doors, etc. during the pressure rising period. If required, check all flange joints on the plant. Change to automatic control of the burner when the boiler pressure is 0.5 bars, lower than the working pressure of the boiler. It is highly recommended that you allow at least 4 hours to lapse between flashing up and attaining full steam pressure. While the steam is being raised, you need to perform some inspections. Check for leakages from manholes, handholds, and all boiler mountings. Check for flame quality through the sight glass provided and adjust the air-fuel ratio accordingly. Check that the water level in both the gauge glasses is the same. Check the color of smoke from the funnel and readjust the air-fuel ratio if necessary. Check if the blowdown line is hot. If the checked results are not found normal, the boiler may have to be shut down and the abnormalities rectified. Next, open the bypass valve slowly to heat up and pressurize the steam system. If the boiler is not provided with a bypass valve, then the main steam valve should be used to heat up and pressurize the steam system. Check the low water level safety arrangements and then open the main steam stop valve. Close the bypass valve. Open the valve of the steam consumers carefully to avoid water shocks to the pipelines. When the boiler is in normal operation, check that the water level control system and the gauge board functions are fully operational. Your boiler is now ready for use. The boiler is provided with various alarms and trips for safety of the equipment and its operator. Listen to the audio to understand the actions. You must take action when one of the alarms sound. Low water level alarm. If the low water level alarm sounds, shut off fuel and confirm level from the gauge glass. Increase the feed flow rate. If the water level still keeps falling, switch off the burner and start checking for leaks. High water level alarm. If the high water level alarm sounds, shut off fuel and confirm level from the gauge glass. Decrease the feed flow rate if the level is still too high. Stop the feed totally and wait for it to come down. You may have to blow down if necessary. Burner flame failure alarm. If the burner flame failure alarm sounds, shut off the fuel. Purge the furnace with a forced draft fan for 5 minutes or more. Inspect the furnace through the burner door. If there is no oil accumulation inside, relight the burners. Low control air pressure alarm. If the control air pressure is low, increase the air supply. Low fuel pressure alarm. If the pressure low alarm sounds, check whether any valve in the fuel line is closed. The suction strainer before the burner or the fuel pump is choked, or the fuel level in the service tank is low. Low feed water pressure alarm. If the feed water pressure alarm sounds at feed pump discharge, check the water level, temperature, or for any airlocks in the lines. Low steam pressure alarm. If the low steam pressure alarm sounds, it means that the steam consumption is high. Therefore, increase the number of burners. High steam pressure alarm. If the high steam pressure alarm sounds, it means that the steam consumption is low. Therefore, reduce the number of burners or their load. Low fuel oil temperature alarm. If the low fuel oil temperature alarm sounds, increase the steam to the fuel heater to bring the temperature back to normal. Automatic boilers will shut off when the following situations arise. A. Low water level. B. High water level. C. Flame failure. D. Low combustion air pressure or fan failure. E. Loss of control of system power. F. Burner door is open. G. Low atomizing steam pressure.